99.7 DJX, the Ben Davis and Kelly K Show podcast. Turn it up. On demand.
Look, if you're ever in a situation where you're like, man, I don't know what quite to do here. Everyone that I ask is too close to the situation. You can always message us, Ben and Kelly Show, or shoot us an email, benandkellyshow@gmail.com. And we'll toss it out to the group. See if we can get you some unbiased opinions and feedback on your situation. So, first of all, Jordan, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing us to contact you on this. Can you walk us through what you wrote us?
Yeah. Currently, I'm dating a great, successful girl.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we're serious, and we talked about marriage and kids and all that.
Okay.
But the issue is we both have dogs.
Okay.
I have a 7-year-old lab that I have spent a ton of time training, and I've owned her since she was a puppy.
Sure.
And my girlfriend has a small mix that's just like super food aggressive, and even like aggressive towards like other dogs and sometimes kids. And like she took food from a 3-year-old at at like a cafe.
Oh.
Yeah, we were at a cafe recently, and the dog just snatched food from a 3-year-old.
Right. Little dog syndrome.
Yeah, extreme little dog syndrome. So like, I told her that, I'm not sure that I would trust her dog with a kid.
Okay.
And she didn't take that well.
Right.
She said that if she had to get rid of her dog, that I have to get rid of mine. So I'm like, I don't know why that's the case, but she said it's fine. If her dog goes, my dog goes. And she won't take the dog to training. She won't let me try and discipline the dog or even recognize the dog has a problem, period.
So she's just turning a blind eye completely.
For sure. Like, that's the approach she's taking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she said once the kid comes along that the dog will bond and everything will be fine. So, what should I do here?
Okay. That could be tough. We got a bunch of people texting in already. At 502-571-9970. So, Jordan, just hang out, and we'll see if we can steer you in the right direction. Okay, buddy?
Thank you, man.
All right, thanks. Hang on.
I feel like we need some dog experts to weigh in on this.
Yeah, and it's funny that we're talking about this now because recently I was just talking to you about you've got pugs, but I feel like they are small dogs, but they don't have small dog syndrome. And do you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are not afraid of anything. And I'll tell you, we have to really make sure that we're looking really far down both sides of the street if we're going to let them out in the front yard. Because if anybody is walking by, especially like walking their dogs, this poor woman, she was walking 4 dogs and I didn't see that. I was cooking dinner. I just opened the door, let them out, and they took off to go say hello. And, that's just kind of... Yeah.
So what I guess I want to know is, because this was never a case with my dog, Fiona, if you have an aggressive type dog, which it sounds like this small dog is, does the dog change when kids are involved or when kids are introduced to the family? You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's what we need the dog experts to weigh in on because
I don't know.
The dog's already taken food from a 3-year-old at the cafe, so I'm thinking no.
But the people, I guess the owner doesn't have an emotional attachment to that kid. And so I guess I'm wondering, because I don't know myself. I don't have any personal experience with this because we got the dog after we had our last kid, Zoe. So
yeah,
so
the kids were already a part of the family.
Yeah, kids were already part of the family.
My biggest problem is she's just unwilling to compromise. Like he has brought up, hey, this is an issue. Yeah. And she's like refusing to even try to train the dog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's a bigger problem.
I completely
She's not
glossed over that.
compromising with this. What will she not compromise with down the road in the marriage?
All right. 502-571-9970. Thank you. Man, when you've got a dog and your girlfriend, who you really see as a long-term partner, has a dog, and it's like oil and water. It just doesn't mix. She's got the small dog. It's got small dog syndrome, and it's a little bit aggressive when it comes to food, when it comes to even like toddlers that they see just out.
It takes food from babies.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The biggest problem, I think, is she's kind of refusing to compromise. Like, he's asked her to, like, get the dog some training, see if that helps. And she's like, no.
Dang.
And so I think a lot of people are kind of pointing to that being a big problem. On text message, John said she's vindictive. This is a red flag. Ooh. Keep your dog. Don't have a kid with her.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Stephanie, I would get some in-home training, not give the girlfriend an option on it. One of my poodles came from a puppy mill and had some aggression toward our other poodle. When we ended up getting some in-home training through the Kentucky Humane Society, and it helped a lot.
Okay.
Courtney said, if I were the guy, I would definitely not bring kids into the mix, especially if she isn't willing to even get the dog training. That makes me furious because the dog is going to end up being put down because of her ignorance. I know multiple dog trainers that have had huge success with antisocial dogs. It can absolutely be done. She's doing the dog and her relationship dirty.
Okay. Michaela.
So I have had multiple dogs, and smaller dogs that have the little dog syndrome, and trying to get them get used to children usually does not work.
Okay.
And what will happen in this situation is the lab that he has is going to become very protective of the child and will probably end up hurting this smaller dog.
Oh, okay. So you're saying this is something that does need to be addressed before kids get there.
Yes.
Hey there, Jennifer.
Hello.
Okay, so what is your experience with this? What would you tell Jordan?
Okay, so I've owned a lot of dogs, and I've trained a lot of dogs, and he's absolutely right when it's a problem. That dog will not stop being what it's doing, food aggressive, people aggressive, when children come into the mix, because it'll get worse. And it'll get worse because the owner, his person, is now dedicated to something else. And so the dogs get jealous.
Gotcha.
And then you're going to have urinating and defecating problems and things like that.
And no one needs that on top of everything.
Yes. No. It's the dog. Either the dog goes to training or dump her.
Oh, okay. Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
All right, see ya. Wow.
She sounds like an expert.
Yeah.
I think we trust her.
So, but like, do we, in so many times, this suggestion has been thrown out there, and do we take the stance of have someone else be that, quote, bad guy that says you're going to need to get your dog into some training, or that dog's going to need to go? Like, I don't know if it's a family member, or even if I don't know. I don't know if they're to the point where they're serious enough to have like an engagement or something like that. But, maybe it is premarital counseling sort of thing, where maybe you slip a $5 to the counselor and you're
oh
like,
my gosh,
you're like,
you're
hey,
slipping a $5 to the counselor.
hey,
I don't know.
Why don't you mention the dog and training for me? Could you please?
I'll make it worth your while.
Maybe.
Why do we slip into mob mode every time?
Maybe this Abraham Lincoln will help you out. Is it Abraham Lincoln on a 5? I don't even know.
Here's the thing. The bigger problem is that she is unwilling to compromise at this point with this issue.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that means she's going to be unwilling to compromise if bigger things come down the road. Because I'll tell you what, just simple parenting issues that come up, are going to need compromise if you both have different ideas on what needs to happen.
Yeah, that's true.
If they're not on the same page with something like this, I feel like that's going to foreshadow problems down the road for them.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So definitely Jordan needs to address this and get on the same page with his girlfriend, especially if what he says is true and everything else is great.
Yeah.
You know, this definitely needs to be dived into on a deeper issue.
He needs to talk to her about the fact that, hey, okay, you seem to be unwilling to even like meet me halfway on this issue. Now I'm kind of concerned how we're going to deal with, conflicts in our marriage, and just be honest with the fact that, listen, I feel like this is a red flag. How are we going to work together solving conflict in our marriage if this is not working?
Good stuff. If you want to chime in on After the Fact, you can. We always post them up on Facebook at Ben and Kelly Show. So you can leave your comment there or listen back to the podcast as well at Ben and Kelly Show.